Wait, can you hear me now?
Okay, now I hear you. Do you hear me?
Hey, there we go. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Sorry, I'm just a little bit late.
No, you're not. It's only 6:01.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Totally thought I was gonna be late to this.
Yeah, no worries. So my name is Renee with Middle Out. Of course, we're gonna be doing an interview about what you got going on. Chris Deering is your last name, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you play for the Sound That Ends Creation. That's an interesting title for a band.
I am the sound that ends creation. It's a one man band.
Yeah. You know what? When I not to I'm not making fun of your name, but what it reminded me of was a South Park episode when they're looking for the brown note.
That would end creation.
Yeah, yeah. So the title that you have is Boomers, Zoomers, and Desperate Coomers. Is there something
Huh?
specific for that?
I never really gave it much thought. It's more because it rhymes, but I mean, like, aren't we all kind of like Zoomers, Boomers, and Desperate Coomers in our own way? I guess. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's more like the extremes, right?
yeah,
Like you have the people that just don't understand what like the kids do. You know what I mean? Like the values that they hold, and the kids don't understand what the adults like values are. And then the Coomers, I don't know where that came from. It just rhymes.
good enough. So, we still got some time before it comes out, November 5th, if I get that correctly, right?
Huh?
Yeah. So, how long have you been working on this album? Because I mean, it's a solo project, so I mean that's going to be very intensive. A lot of work probably has to go. And with that, has it been, years in the making, or you had all
Oh no,
this
not
time
not
off?
years. I think it might have taken like 7 months,
Oh,
something
really?
like that. Yeah, yeah. Started at the end of last year and finished up probably around April or May, I think, something like that.
Mm. Is this your first project doing it this way?
Oh no, this is actually my sixth album.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I've been doing this for a little bit now. This is the fifth year I've been working on. Well, I guess the sixth year, like starting the sixth year. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, shit, if this is your fifth album, 6 year, you're doing one like every 9 to 10 months.
yeah, one every year. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Dang. That keeps you pretty busy then.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just like 6 to 7 months to make it, and then just a little bit of promotion, and you know, yeah, it's just something I do for fun. I don't really get out too much, so this is like how I like use my time.
Yeah, very cool. Well, at least it's being productive, right?
Right, right.
I saw that, your last single, you actually had Kate Davies, a pupil slicer, on there. How did
I
you connect
did.
with her to be on that single?
So I actually have a podcast called The Cast That Ends Creation, where I interview like mathcore bands and stuff like that. And I had People Slicer on, and so that's where like we connected, and just kept in touch with her, and yeah, got her on.
Yeah, that album kicks ass too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Those guys rip. They're so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Uh, Listening to mathcore, sometimes it's hard for some people to get into it, and they just think that you're doing noise, but it's purpose. There's a purpose to every note that you're playing and everything that you're doing. But yours, from what I hear, it takes it to a little bit more extreme. Was that the whole intention of what you wanted to accomplish?
Yeah, just push boundaries all the time. You know what I mean? Like wanted to do something that nobody else was doing, and I don't think I've ever come across anybody that sounds quite like me. There's some that are close, but yeah, not to sound like conceited or whatever, but yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody that quite sounds the way that I do, and that's what I was trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So when you start say a new record or a new song, do you start with guitars first? Because I mean, I also hear pianos or keys in the background, or how does it actually start constructing the song?
I start with guitar. Usually, like this time around, the way that I was getting inspiration for it was playing jazz records at two times the speed, and then trying to like replicate that in like a grindcore kind of setting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would start with guitars first, and then go through with the drums, and then the keys, and then saxophone and vocals and stuff at the end.
Okay. Yeah. So multi instrumentist. Yeah,
Oh
you're
yeah.
playing all that stuff.
Oh no, no, no. I play the guitar, the bass, and do vocals. Everything else is MIDI. I
Okay.
program it.
Yeah. But that's even that. I mean, that's very time consuming.
It is. It is.
At any point, do you get frustrated with like a song structure or something that is not coming together? You kind of have to shelve it for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Not so much this time around because I knew more what I was trying to do, but for my last album, I wrote like 56 songs and cut out like all but I think it ended up with 13 songs on that one.
Hmm.
So yeah, like it's throwing away a lot of stuff, taking some songs, breaking them apart, and like kind of sewing them together into like this Frankenstein thing. There's different ways that it works out. I think this time around, I threw out like 4 songs, something like that.
Uh,
But yeah, there's always some that aren't as good as the other ones. You know what I mean? I'm trying to hit around like 20-minute mark. You know what I mean? So just not have any fat.
yeah, and I saw that you got the pre-orders up coming out. I mean, because
Oh
it
yeah.
is a single project, is there, when somebody does pre-order, maybe doing some sign pressings or anything like that?
Yeah. If people want me to sign them, I'll sign them. I don't get that too much anymore. There's a couple of people that have asked, but yeah, I'll totally sign whatever. My handwriting looks like garbage, though. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I mean, they expect that though. No,
Actually, dude, I had the same reaction from somebody because they had asked me to do that. I'm like, dude, it looks like poop, right? And he's like, no, it adds to the experience. That's what I would expect. I'm like, all
yeah,
right.
yeah. I think when we're kids, we start off trying to write neat, and as time goes on, we just get lazier and lazier, and we just scribble on there.
Yeah, yeah. You just say screw it, man. I just like draw a line and move
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I, I unfortunately have started I just put my initials when I sign. That's it.
Hey, there you go. It's better than what most people do.
Y-
Like,
Yeah, unless it's a legal document, then I'll put my real name. But if it's just whatever, I just scribble whatever. It doesn't even look like a signature; it's just squiggly lines.
yeah.
Yeah. So, for is there going to be, because this release is not till November? Are you going to be releasing like another single before the album
Yeah,
drops?
we got another one dropping. It should be August or October 1st. We haven't completely like finalized things yet, but that's what we're shooting for.
Mhm. Is this one going to be because I know lyric videos are cheaper to make, or do you try to make this one like a different type of video, or do you are you part of the creative process when the videos are made?
So I have an artist that makes those. I just kind of send him the song, let him do whatever, as long as it's like somewhat related to the song. So yeah, he does. I have no idea how he can program or he can animate the way that he does. Like it's insane what this guy does. And but yeah, it's gonna be like that. Another full video, like
Yeah.
how they've been looking.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because I've talked to some other bands. One of the last bands I talked to was a band Aborted, and one of their videos they had claymation, and they were talking about how it took like the artist like 6 months to make that video because it was
Jeez.
claymation. And I was like, I mean, that's you got to move every little thing to get into position how you want. That's so in
Right.
depth. Yeah, yeah, and the
This dude
artist.
turns them out in like 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh man,
It's
that's
crazy. I have
yeah.
no idea how he's doing it.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, not to take anything away from what they do, but you know, technology and everything that's computerized. I mean, now artists can
Right.
draw on an iPad, or I think those Wacom tablets or whatever, and that process is a whole lot faster than what it used to be.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, instead of making, I think the traditional way would be making slide per slide per slide, and then doing it a video that way, which is
Yeah.
no, no thanks.
Right.
So, to talk about the that song that Kate comes on, the "You're a loose cannon, but damn, you get results." You reading the lyrics, it's pretty specific who you're targeting. Was that
Yeah.
something that you may have witnessed, seen yourself, or it's just from everything that you've seen going on?
I mean, it's from everything I've seen going on. I never really had to run in with the cops. But it's pretty messed up, like how things have been going, and there's a lot of communities that are that have issues with the police. Like I think we put out a press release for the single, and I was saying that it's a song that's mostly against the way that our police are trained. They're more like occupying forces and like poor communities of color, things like that. So yeah, that's mainly where it came from. There's no accountability. Like they can get away with anything. It's pretty
Right.
bad. It's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised Chauvin got convicted. Like I don't think I think a lot of people didn't think he was going to actually get convicted, and it's sad when we're like that. You know what I mean?
Right. It's because that's what you expect. I mean, just because of
Exactly.
the way history has been. I mean, the badge gets away with whatever they want. Not saying that all
Right.
cops are bad, but I mean, it's just like any business, any job, anything. You're always going to have a small percent of population that just sucks as a human being. Doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
So
Well, so you said not all cops are bad, but the meaning behind all cops are bastards is that like it could be like good people like when they're off the job, right? But when they are on the job, the laws they have to enforce, the way they've been told to enforce these laws, the way that they have to like carry themselves and such, there's no way they could do their job properly without being bastards. So that's what that means. It doesn't mean that they're like personally in their personal lives bastards.
right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no, not here. I completely understand that when they're in that position, they have to be in that position of authority. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, I mean, if somebody came up to you as a cop and they come up to you friendly, like trying to be your friend, first off, you're gonna be like, "Well, what the fuck's going
Right.
on?
Right, right,
why,
right.
why are you trying to be my friend? What did I do? What are you gonna entrap me with?"
Exactly. Yeah.
but
Yeah. They're there to protect capital, not to protect us. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Protect
yeah,
property.
yeah, and it's as if decades have gone by, nothing has really changed. Because I mean, we go back to, I mean, I remember, and I don't know if this may have been before you were born. I don't know how old you are, but with body count start, doing Cop Killer way back in the day, you know,
Oh yeah, I was not around for that. I don't think I'm
yeah,
30 now, but I don't remember it back in the day.
yeah, yeah. You think you're probably too young, but yeah. Anyway, they had the song Cop Killer, and all these politicians came after him, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing? What do you do? What do you why are you singing this?" And he even got banned off their album to where it's not on. If you try to
Yeah.
buy the first Body Count album, it's that song is not on there because they got it off of there. But I mean, they've been singing about police brutality since forever. I mean, not just him, but I mean other John Ross and other musicians. So it's
Right.
sad that nothing has changed in all this time.
Right. It's gonna take a lot to get something to change. You know what I mean? Like even now, like they're not really doing a whole lot right now. You know what I mean? There's a couple of
Yeah,
laws like starting to go through, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The wheels have
Especially in
definitely
these like red states, like it's gonna take so long for states led by like conservative like leadership and stuff to change anything. You know?
yeah, yeah. They'll make a meeting and talk about it.
Right. Form a committee and then talk about the committee being formed for like 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing gets done, man. Nothing gets done.
Right.
So, with your other songs that are going to be on this album, are they going to be in the same vein of type of topics, or is it just sporadic of what's going
Yeah,
on?
it's like some of it's political stuff, but other things but it touches on a bunch of different topics, and it's like have you ever seen the comedian John Oliver? His show
Yeah.
last week tonight. Okay, so think John Oliver, but like his lyric, like the way he talks, like in my lyrics. That's what I was going for. Was like talking about really shitty or really bad topics, but with like tongue in cheek. You know what I mean? Trying to make it like kind of funny. You know,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
it's super messed up.
right, right. Yeah, sometimes it's even though that's also I guess a touchy road to pick on for writing lyrics wise, because some people are like,
Right.
man, I don't want to hear this. I just want to hear some good music or whatever. And but then you also got other people that will gravitate to that specifically because of what you're singing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I was adding in some comedy so that it doesn't completely turn off people that don't want to hear about this stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like in the song, you always can, but you get results. They talk about how the guy thinks that he's a real life version of Batman. Like that's funny. You know, I think that's funny anyway.
yeah,
So yeah, just trying to like disarm people and like talk about like a messed up subject. You know.
yeah. Well, I mean, they got the bat belt with on them, so
There you go.
so they kind of like Batman, I guess. But they're just poor. So just to get to know you, because you're a fellow Texan, you're up past Dallas, I believe, right in Allen.
Yeah, yeah. Alan, I think we're about like what is it? 15 miles from Dallas, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I live in Corpus, so on the other side, a little bit
Oh,
further
okay.
south from you. Yeah. So for yourself, how long have you been playing music? I know you've been, been making these albums for, you said, 6 years now. When did you start playing? Did you start off with guitar? Did you start off with keyboards? How did you start off?
So I think the very first instrument I picked up was in sixth grade, and it was a trumpet. So there was that for like school, and then I moved on into percussion, and I ended up stopping doing like the school band because it's just boring.
Yeah.
But I tried to do like just vocals in a band for a long time, but I could never find anybody that was like reliable. You know what I mean? So around like 10th grade, I think I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make my own music. Picked up a guitar and started getting to it. I think I was like 15 or 16 when I started making music like that I wrote. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, musical influences, because I mean, what you play is mathcore, and I mean, to the extreme. Musical influences. Did you have any certain bands that like this is the type of music that has inspired me, and but I want to take what they're doing and go further than that?
Right. So I started getting into mathcore around 2015. Is when I first like discovered it, which is way after it all died because it died out in like '08 or something like that, and then it started like resurgence or whatever. I had found what is it? See You Next Tuesday. They have an album called Parasite. Super drawn to that album. That album's amazing. Then I found Psyopus and Daughters, and those are like the bands that really like you know put me on the path that I am now. And I actually started making more straightforward stuff. If you go listen to like my old stuff, it's more straightforward mathcore. And I was like, how can we push this further? Like, has anybody actually put like a piano in there before? And so started experimenting with that. And I found there's actually a couple other bands. I call it jazzcore, the kind of thing that I'm doing, because we got like trumpets and saxophones and all that kind of stuff. And it's got a real jazzy feel to it. There's this one band, Lefty Fish, and they put out an album, and it's so good. And it was like jazz straight through. It's like essentially jazz band playing grindcore, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I started like going into that direction, trying to take what they were doing just a little bit further to adding in breakdowns and stuff like that. And that's
Yeah.
how we got here.
Yeah. So when you're constructing a song, do you ever get to where, you may make the song a little bit too difficult to play, or you just don't think about it, you just go for it?
So when I was writing this, I was kind of torn between playing it live or not playing it live. I've been kind of wanting to do it, but yeah, I wasn't completely sure. So I would sometimes think about how I would do it live, and then other times I wouldn't. And now I'm coming back trying to relearn this stuff because I am gonna play it live. And some of the songs I'm just like, what the hell was I thinking, man? Like this is impossible. So yeah. Now I'm kind of regretting it a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's going to be interesting. Are you going to have like backtracks when you're going to be trying playing this, solo by yourself, or you going to try to get some
Yeah.
other musicians? Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna try it solo by myself. Like I said, I had some other one man bands back in the day, so I'm used to like being on stage by myself because I've done this a couple times.
hmm
Trying to do like other things to make it more interesting. I've actually been looking at DJ lights recently to try to get like a crazy light show happening behind me, like lasers and stuff.
yeah,
So I think that'd be pretty cool. And I'm gonna get like a what do you call it? A wireless headset so I can run around stage and stuff like that instead of just being stuck behind a microphone because
yeah,
I never thought that was particularly interesting.
right. Well, that's going to be exciting, and I mean, at least it lets you, move around in the crowd if you wanted to. Go
Exactly. Yeah.
outside, start playing outside, and then come back
Yeah.
inside.
It'd get crazy.
Yeah, everybody's like, where the hell is he going, man? Yeah, you got to make it interesting. As interesting as the music is, because you're right. When, somebody just stands there and just plays, I guess there's two ways to view it. You're either viewing the musician as a whole because they're able to move all over the stage, or you're listening to the music itself because some musicians play some technical shit, and you're like, okay, well, you understand they have to stay still to play this. 'Cause there's no way to be jumping
Right.
around. Animals and leaders, you're not going to see, him jumping around trying to play this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you got a band like Dillinger Escape Plan that plays like crazy stuff, but also like running around and
Yeah,
climbing things.
yeah, that is true. I guess you got the extremes, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that's what I want to be. I want to be like something that you're not gonna forget. You know what I mean? Like just as crazy and insane as the music is, just
yeah,
brought to life.
Yeah, well, that's a high standard to get to, man.
Yeah,
That's some high
yeah.
goals.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really hard.
So, where you're at, is there a lot of venues to play, or are you gonna have to travel into Dallas for some,
So I haven't
shows?
been involved in the local scene in a very long time, but there's a bunch of other mathcore bands that have popped up that I've been like connecting with, and so they're helping me like get things together. We're actually organizing. Me and another band are organizing a tour. We're not completely ready to announce it yet. We're getting pretty close, but yeah, we're gonna be going around the country a little bit. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, man, that's gonna be cool. Have you done a huge tour before, or this is you're trying to venture out into more stuff?
So I was in a local band a while back, like what was it, like 10 years, no, like 9 years, something like that, called Giant of the Mountain. They're still going around, they're still putting out albums and stuff, but I was with them back then, and we did a West Coast tour. This is the first time that I've gone on a tour. So yeah, I know how you feel at the end of those things, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're just doing like a small tour, see how things work out, and yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool, man. It's to be able to put out your music and then people buying the music and being inspired by it. It's like a whole total another level.
Oh yeah, we announced my first show. It's gonna be a Halloween show in Denton, and the response has been insane, man. Like I've had people telling me they're gonna fly out here from like Massachusetts and stuff and do like these long drives to get to the show. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like it's just nuts that people want to hear it. You know what I mean? That people want to see it. You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. That means that you're resonating. Your music is resonating with people that they're willing to go thousands of miles to come see you.
Right? It's crazy. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So, getting back to the singles that you had released, were you nervous, or do you get nervous in picking like the first single that you're gonna release to kind of state what the album's gonna be like, or you're just comfortable with like any song could have been a single?
I was kind of the feeling that any song. Well, there's a couple of songs that probably wouldn't have worked as a single, but I asked a lot of people what their opinions were, and I actually like made like a chart with all the song names on there and said which ones people really liked and stuff. And so yeah, the first one is the one that got the most votes, and then the second one was the one that got the second most votes. So yeah,
There you go. You just go in order then.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the things that, of course, other bands have been doing, and this is something I don't know if you thought about because you're a one man band, of doing any live streams to kind of just help promote the album on social media more. People see you actually playing these songs, somewhat live.
Yeah, I was thinking when because right now I'm still trying to relearn the songs, you know what I mean? Thinking when that was done and I was to the point where I could do like vocals with the guitar, then I might stream like a set or two of me like getting used to like the lighting and all that other, because I said I was gonna buy like DJ gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, me playing around with that stuff and like practicing and such. I was thinking I would do that later on. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be an undertaking because what you're playing, from what I've heard, it's not very simple to play,
Right.
and then to be singing on top of
Yeah. It's gonna be hard.
that. It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm almost to the point where I can get through. I think there's about 5 songs that I've been learning where I don't have to look at the guitar while I'm doing most of it. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I've got like 45 days to get it figured out. So I feel like I can do it.
There you go. You got to rely on muscle memory at that point.
Exactly. That's the plan. Yeah, just like run through them until to the point where I could just do it like
Yeah.
with muscle memory. Exactly.
Yeah. So, when you're relearning these songs, did you traditionally start, guitar with taking guitar lessons, or you just like kind of, by ear and then, play off of, some other, you know, uh, trying to copy some other mathcore bands to kind of get the idea of how they're writing the songs?
So back when I first started guitar, I got one of those like $100 like beginner things, and it came with a DVD. I got about halfway through the DVD. I threw the
Yeah.
DVD away. So I ended up finding out that there were tabs on the internet where you could just figure out, where to place your fingers and stuff. So I started doing that to learn some more things. And when I got into mathcore, there are a couple of bands that would have like playthroughs, and you could kind of copy what they were doing. Like Chris Harp of Psyopus has like 3 videos, I think, where he's playing through like songs, and that guy's insane. I don't know if you ever heard Psyopus. Have you heard them?
No, I haven't. I
Okay,
should.
well,
I'll check them out.
he's on another level. Like this dude's a guitar god, right? So I was basically just trying to copy stuff he was doing. Then I found some playthroughs for some Daughters stuff, and that helped me figure out like the chord shapes that people were using to get some of these sounds, like panic chords and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how I learned. Was just watching people play them on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. I took it further.
Yeah, yeah,
Because as a kid, of course, every I guess maybe every young boy is like either you want a fast car once you get to that age, but you also want to like, you see rock bands, you're like, wow, I want to play guitar too. So
right.
I played guitar as a young kid, and but of course never took it any further because life happens. But just learning, song, chord structures and all the different types of scales and all these different progressions you could do, it can get very complicated. So good luck on trying to play this live.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I need all the luck I can get.
Yeah, yeah. So I saw you also have some shirts coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Is there going to be like a limited run of vinyls? Certain colors or
So
anything like that?
so right now we got 3 different variants. It's 100 for each, 100 pieces in each variant. So we got 300 to start out with, and or I don't know why I'm saying we, but yeah, got 3 sick variants, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it all sells out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, very cool. So I know some other bands have experienced some delays in getting vinyls. Have you had that issue or no?
So my last one definitely was delayed. Like I was told it's supposed to be like mid-November. No, it was supposed to be end of October, early November. Then I got moved to mid-November. Then I got moved to December, and then it ended up being February when I finally got them. Right, that was the last one. This one, I knew that there was going to be some kind of issue, so I started like in April, I think, looking for places. And the first couple of places that I went to told me that they were already booking for next spring.
Wow.
It's like Jesus Christ, yeah, it's like so long. Oh my god. I finally found one place that said that they could get it to me the last week of October, and so I'm with them. But they've told me that they've had some delays in their plant, but it shouldn't affect my in-hand date. So we'll see what happens. I don't expect to get them on time, just saying, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fingers crossed for that you get them on time. Yeah. So, talking about that, getting to talk about a little bit your guitar rig itself. Do you happen to use like a lot of effects, a lot of pedals, or do you keep it straightforward?
So right now, I don't even own an amp. I just plug straight into my audio interface because I do all the recording and mixing and mastering and stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's all just like amp sims on the computer.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Yeah, no, it is. The most stripped down you could possibly be, right? Like you just plug it straight into the computer. But yeah, I was thinking about whenever I'd play live, I'd just take my laptop, hook up my audio interface to it, have my like digital audio workstation in there, so I could have all the same effects I used in the album, and then plug that into the PA, so it would sound literally like it does on the album.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and that is freaking amazing that you can do that now. I mean, that everything can be done on the freaking computer. I mean,
Right, right.
yeah, and the sounds you can get is like, oh, I want it to sound like this cab, or I want it to have this type of sound. And you just push a button or download the plugin, and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, dude.
And that's almost like cheating.
Right, right.
Yeah, because I've looked at some of those. I think it was the Neuro one with the Gojira sound effects and the Get Good drums and all that stuff. It's like, man, all that stuff seems tempting. It's like I can sound. I mean, I could probably play shitty, but if I have a good enough sound effect, I'm gonna sound badass.
Right, right. There you go. That's what this is all based on, man. Just awesome effects so that I sound badass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess for some, but it's weird how there's all these different genres of music to where you can play something that makes no sense, but it's like intentional, and have a structure, even though it doesn't seem like there's a structure to it. Because I don't know if
Right.
you remember or listen to Meshuggah when Meshuggah started. everybody's like, what the hell is going on? Like nothing is mixing. It's not a normal song structure. Stuff is not fitting in our box like the way it's supposed to sound. But I mean, that was their sound, and of course they, the kings of it. Uh,
Right.
yeah, so it's different, but I mean, of course, people are gonna always flock to whatever moves them and what they're intrigued by and what they enjoy. Although
Yeah.
you can't dance to Meshuggah though.
You could. It just probably break your legs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You snap a couple ankles.
yeah. Luckily, I don't know if talking about Meshuggah, they're coming back to the States next year. I already got my ticket
I
ready.
think oh yeah, I saw it was with Converge, right? And
I believe so.
I forgot the other one. But yeah, dude, Converge coming through is sick. That's so awesome, man. Like, I kind of want to get tickets, but I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be super expensive. I haven't looked at them yet.
They're not too expensive. I think there was maybe $50, $60. I think it wasn't too bad.
It's a little expensive, but yeah, yeah. I'm a
Yeah,
starving artist, man.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forget sometimes. I mean, I've already. I mean, I have a career, and I've already done the starving part. I've done the walking to work. I no shit, man. Walking to work in literal rain to get to work because no car. The bus isn't. The bus isn't. Driving at 8 o'clock in the morning. They wouldn't start till like
Right.
12 o'clock. So I've already done that part, and thank goodness that shit is over because that sucked.
Yeah, you're starving and now you're eating.
Yeah, my stomach can attest to that. So, being in Dallas or close to Dallas, I mean, have you attended any shows that have gone by there?
Like I said, I haven't been like in the local scene a long time. I think the last show I went to was like 4 years ago, something like that. I don't really get out too much. Now that I've connected with a lot of the people like in the mathcore scene and such, I'll probably be going out to more shows. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and not. I mean, I guess that kind of makes me a little bit jealous because you at least have you can say you have a mathcore scene. You know,
Right. Oh, it's crazy. All these bands that are popping up in Texas. It's insane. We're kind of like a hotbed for it. It's weird.
yeah. Right now, there's been a shit ton of bands coming out of Texas that are just kicking ass.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good thing. More music, it's better for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So, almost coming to a conclusion of our interview, we talked about that you got the pre-order, of course, coming out November 5th. You got shirts, you got vinyl coming out. Anything else that fans can do to kind of help support your band right now? Or to support you because you are the one-man band?
Well, there are CDs coming out as well. I wanted to mention that. All this stuff is at the soundthatinspiration.bandcamp.com. Just watch the videos, man. Spread them around. Yeah, introducing people to some weird music.
Yeah.
Also wanted to plug real quick. I got my podcast where I interview bands, the Cast That Inspiration. If anyone wants to check it out,
Cool, cool. Yeah. I guess I'm assuming it's on Apple iTunes and all that, all the
Oh
usual.
yeah, it's anywhere you can find a podcast. Also stream it live on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Cast That Inspiration every Sunday and Wednesday.
There you go. Well, shit, man. No wonder you're not going to any shows. You were just busy doing stuff the whole time.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, but now you got preparations to make for your own shows
Right,
coming.
right.
Yeah. Uh, Good luck with that because the couple songs that I've heard, it sounds you got a big task ahead of you.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty difficult. Pretty difficult.
Yeah, but even then, you can still make it. I guess even if it's imperfect, it's still why we go to a show. You know what I mean? To
Hmm.
where it doesn't have to be exact note per note. As long as you're, a lot of times people will react to how genuine you're being playing that music instead of like, oh my God. I remember going to a Megadeth show when I was like a teenager and he was doing some solos or whatever. And then afterwards, a friend of mine is like, he didn't even play it like exactly like the album. I was like, what's your problem, man? They put on a hell of a
I'm definitely jealous of saying that, but those are also shows where people weren't like moving, and it wasn't really a show. They were just like standing there playing. You know what I mean?
yeah, there are.
And it wasn't like overly technical music either, so you can't really give them a pass for that. But I have said that a couple of times. I don't like just going to a show and watching people just standing around. You know what I mean? Like you got to be interactive with the crowd. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Enjoy it, especially because I mean, shit. It's been a year and a half since we've had shows. They're finally coming back. In Texas,
Right.
we're crazy, and we just opened that shit up.
Yeah, yeah. I expect that the first couple of shows should be pretty insane. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once you go, I've been to a few shows recently, and the vibe is just like, man, they just upped it. To, I mean, you thought it was crazy before. It's just like everybody's just wild now, like, which
Hell
is a
yeah.
good, yeah, which is a good thing, as long as everybody stays safe, or to each their own. But yeah, you're gonna have a good time once you have a show. So before we finish up, Chris, anything else you would like to promote? Anything else we haven't touched on that you would like to talk about?
No, can't think of anything. Just the sound that ends creation at bandcamp.com and yeah, say youtube.com/the cast that ends creation.
All
And
right.
yeah.
Very cool, man. Well, it was a pleasure talking with you. I wish you the best on November 5th when you release your new albums.
Well,
Single
thank you.
single person making the whole all that's coming out. It's just all you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, thank you for that, man. It was great. It was great being here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, you take care and you keep in touch, man. Maybe you'll come down, or maybe I'll go up that way. Whatever it is, whatever catch a show or something.
Hell yeah, it sounds awesome.
All right, you take care, Chris. Thanks.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.